Welcome back, guys. Today we have prepared a new series. So once a month, we would like to talk about one of those questions we frequently get, and viewers get confused with those kind of questions. We can answer them to you. So today we want to talk about a situation that clients say, "Oh, I have a valid visa, but why am I out of status in Canada?" Okay, Craig, we get that question all the time. So what is the difference between visa and status?
That is a good question. So oftentimes clients will come to us and they'll say, my visa is expiring, but it's not really the case, and in that situation it's important to know the correct terms to describe their situation. So a visa is a sticker, a holofoil sticker in someone's passport. A visa lets someone enter the country, but a visa by itself doesn't give them a status in Canada. So a status simply describes someone's situation in the country. It's not a document that says status, it's what they exist as. So once they have a visa, they enter the country. At that point, the visa does not really matter anymore regarding their status in the country. Mm-hmm. They still have to keep their status while they stay in the country, and if they want to stay for longer than the default of 6 months, they have to make sure to extend their status. And having a valid visa doesn't extend their status by itself. So that's a different type of application.
Okay, so that means even if you have a valid 5-year multiple entry visa, that doesn't mean that you can stay in Canada for 5 years.
No, definitely not necessarily. In simple words, the visa on your passport, it means that you can travel to Canada. So once the traveler arrives here, he's going to the immigration, mm-hmm. and in that moment, an officer is going to decide if that person can enter and how long can stay.
Okay.
So with 5 years, for example, with multiple entries, it doesn't mean that the person can stay 5 years in Canada. It means in that period, 5 years, he or she can travel multiple times to Canada. But any time that this person arrives in the country, at the airport, at the port of entry, is gonna or she's gonna get questions about what they're gonna do here, and the officer is going to decide how long they can stay.
Okay, so like Craig mentioned, when you first enter Canada, like by default, the CBSA agent will give you an entry stamp in your passport. Unless they specify any specific date, by default you have 6 months to stay. Or sometimes they will give you a piece of paper called visitor record, and it will show the expiry date. So you must leave Canada by the expiry date, or 6 months from the date that you got the entry stamp. Otherwise, you're gonna be out of status, even if you have a 5-year valid visa. And then, what happens if your status ran out, but your visa is still valid? Like, can they do anything about it to stay longer in Canada?
That's also a good question. So, as we just talked about, they may think they still can stay in Canada for up to 5 years, but that's not the case. So, there could be a situation where 6 months has passed as a visitor, and now they have no status, and they may not even realize it. Someone may have to tell them that.
Okay.
If they're out of status, that means they may have a chance to restore their status. And depending on their previous status, whether it's a visitor, student, or worker, they can try to restore to that previous status. They'll have 90 days to do that. In order to do that, the application would be similar to an extension as a worker or as a visitor or student. But there is an additional fee to pay, and you also have to explain why you went out of status, mm-hmm. and why you should be allowed to stay longer.
I see. So, like just Craig explained, so if the person went out of the status, but still within the 90-day period, like, is it gonna be easy to just restore their status?
It depends.
It depends.
It always depends. It's never easy. That is a remedy, what we call. So someone that is in that situation has an application to send. But of course, it's going to be pretty much like a new visa. So we have to explain why this person wants to stay and why this person might qualify or not, and in which condition. And the officer is going to decide also, as they do for other visas, if the person can stand their stay in Canada or not.
Okay, so I mean, with our video today, so I hope our viewers, they don't get confused between status and visa, so you don't find yourself in the situation you have to apply for restoration. Thanks guys for all the valuable information, and I hope this answers your question, and then we'll come back in our next video. Thank you, bye.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. We'll continue to make new videos every week, and if you like what you see, consider subscribing. Thank you.